Took me a while, but I finally made it into the cabinet of curiosities. Was this your big secret? You collected jewels and works of art. But why would you hide them here? But hold on, it wasn't Serena who took all of this. It was someone called Leon. A genuine gentleman thief who elevated theft to an art form. His identity always remained a complete enigma, so everyone was always
Leon
in the dark
backwards.
about his next move. The police were desperate to catch him, but the general public worshipped him like a hero. Even then, he still had to live in the shadows. Something we have in common.
Why does that have my name?
Hang on, what? What's my name doing there? It was just ready and waiting for me? What the hell does this all mean?
Debbie's stomach growls. She begins to devour a bowl of milk and cereal. Sitting at the large dining room table surrounded by empty chairs, her only company is the mysterious cat statue, which is watching her from next to the Count Chocula box. You'd think it was hungry too, she thinks as she gazes at the encrusted jewels. There is no doubt that this is a very valuable piece. The fact that it is stolen is what fascinates her the most. She has always been attracted to illicit activities. Even as a child, she preferred villains to heroes. And despite only ever confessing it to a friend once, Debbie loves stealing. She's overcome by a fond feeling of complicity toward Leon. Handsome! Why are you upset? She imagines the adrenaline rush he must have felt after he carried out his daring heists, carefully planning them, executing them, then reveling in his spoils. The last few years had been a wild time for Debbie. She'd broken every rule she possibly could. She had become the school's bad girl. And she liked that. She enjoyed being bad and dangerous. One subject she excelled in was pulling pranks. She loved to play pranks, and the more elaborate they were, the better. She also enjoyed scamming the rich brats from school by making ridiculous bets from which she had won a number of things that ranged from free drinks to a convertible. And although most of the time she got away with it, on a couple of occasions she had been expelled from school for a few days. What came after was much worse. Her father's punishment. Physical, painful, humiliating. Okay, something to do with this. Debbie tips some more cereal into her bowl as she flips through the scrapbook, looking for the page that was labeled on the cat statue. Her intuition tells her that this mansion is still hiding many secrets, and all she needs to do is fit the pieces together. No way. Oh. The golden heist. And that's Kitty right there. There it is, a photograph of a pedestal with the statue that she now has in front of her on it, alongside 3 others. And that's not all. Debbie recognizes the floor lamp next to the pedestal. It has a vintage design, looks like something out of a 1970s sci-fi movie. She almost certainly seen it before, but where? The library. Debbie jumps up with a start, knocking the chair to the floor, tipping the milk carton over, which spills all over the table. Oh, I'll clean it up later. Dude, clean it up now! It's gonna spoil you, dummy! Ignoring the mess, Debbie runs out to the dining room door. Dude, you need to clean up that mess before it spoils. Firmly grasping the cat statue, Debbie rushes through the small office on her way to the library. She needs to find that pedestal and check it as soon as possible. She reaches the library by crossing the office door. She had been here before, but only to have a quick look around. Now her eyes scour the room, scanning the bookshelves and furniture piled high with books, searching for that damned pedestal. Where is it? Just when she thinks her memory is playing tricks on her and she turns around to leave, Debbie sees it in the corner next to the lamp. Just as she suspected, the pedestal was there, identical to the one she'd seen in a scrapbook, but there's no sign of the cats. So I gotta find those cats, huh? Debbie approaches the pedestal and examines it. It's made of polished marble and looks like it's very heavy. It has 4 holes, which are each shaped differently. She delicately tries to place the cat figure she found in the cabinet of curiosities into one of the holes, but the base of the statue doesn't fit. Let's see if it goes here, she mumbles as she tries to place the golden cat into another hole in the pedestal, but it doesn't fit in that one either. However, as she places it in the 3rd hole, she's finally able to firmly insert the figurine. What a cute little kitty, she says to herself, smirking. Debbie takes a couple steps backward to admire the pedestal thoughtfully. It's obvious that there are 3 missing figures that also must be placed there. So I gotta go back to the office. Phone's ringing, so... Still startled by the telephone ringing, Debbie returns to the office from the library and stops abruptly in front of the phone. Picking it up could only cause more trouble. House is supposed to be empty. She's not supposed to be there at all, or maybe she is. She rubs her sweaty fingertips together uncertainly. Come on, leave me alone. She holds her breath, waiting for the caller to give up. One more and I'm sure they'll hang up. The phone keeps ringing. What if it's for me? Debbie can't look away. But who knows if I'm here?
Hello, Debbie. I've been waiting to talk with you for a long time, you know.
Ooh.
But first, you must listen to me very carefully. We don't have much time.
Okay.
Please, help me find my cats. They've gotten lost all over this massive house.
Are you Serena?
Once they're all together, they'll give you a time. The time to cry.
We gotta find the cats scattered all over the house. After hanging up the phone, Debbie swallows hard and takes a minute to think. She almost feels relieved. She was afraid she'd hear her father on the other end of the line, angry, making threats and ordering her to come home at once. But no, the voice sounded unfamiliar and it reassured her. Whoever it is, someone wants to keep playing with her. Alright, so that's how it's gonna be, is it? She says as she nods, plucking up her courage. Well, you asked for it, and I'm gonna get this over with, and I'm going to beat you. Feeling more determined than ever, Debbie walks out the door, prepared to find the 3 missing figures. Debbie's a bundle of nerves as she enters the living room and starts pacing around in circles in an attempt to clear her mind. Her gaze falls on the huge couch that presides over the living room. The plush cushions seem to be calling her name. Not now. There's an X, there's footprints there. Not now. She has more important things at hand. She must find the missing figures. She wants to solve this damn mystery. She can choose to go to the hall, take the stairs, return to the dining room, go back to the library, or go to the office. Let's go to the hall. We'll start there. Debbie reaches the hall. From there, she can access a small guest toilet or return to the living room. Toilet? From the hall, Debbie slightly opens the bathroom door and pokes her head in, not quite convinced that this is the right place to be searching for figurines. It'd be a miracle if I happen to find the cats here. She opens the door wide and turns on the light. After a quick glance around, she sees her reflection in the mirror and makes a face. Here I am playing detective looking like this, she says as she fixes her hair with her fingers. Debbie sighs heavily as she realizes just how much of a hermit she has become since she arrived at the house. The truth is, she doesn't care, but deep down she misses getting all dressed up to go partying and break some guys' or girls' hearts. But if it were me, I'd definitely hide one in here, she mutters to herself as she pictures the 4 cat-shaped Oh. Beware of the cat. So I'm gonna need to do something here. But not yet, I don't think. Living room. Let's go to stairs. Debbie stands at the top of the stairs just off of the living room. She doubtfully rests her head on the wood railing. What now? She can either go upstairs or go down to the floor below. Let's go below. The basement. As she walks downstairs and opens the basement door, Debbie immediately feels a little shiver. Everything is dark. The dim dusk light from the stairs barely illuminates the entrance of the room, so it's hard to get a sense of the real size of the basement. Debbie passes the wall on either side of the door, searching for a switch, but doesn't find one. She takes a step backward, but a sinister, musty smell brings her to a halt. Who knows what's down here? There's no point in insisting. If she could keep moving forward, she could easily trip or bump on something. I need a flashlight. Okay. That's got to be something around here somewhere. Resigned, she turns back. Okay, so I'm going to have to go to the basement eventually. Let's go upstairs. Debbie decisively climbs up the stairs and walks down the hallway. The old portraits hanging on the wall seem to get a kick out of watching her scurry up and down. She likes some faces more than others, but even so, Debbie is now used to their condescending stares from beyond the grave. Without further ado, Debbie searches the study, the bedroom, and the dressing room. She turns all 3 rooms inside out, opening closets and drawers, pushing furniture aside, rummaging in every corner. However, there's nothing. The missing cats are not there. Exhausted, she leans her back against the wall in the hallway and drops herself down onto the carpet. Damn it, I can't give up now. Gathering her strength, she gets up. She still has 2 other places left to explore in the house, the attic and the guest room. Guest room first. Walking down the hallway, Debbie directs her steps toward the guest room. When she arrived at the mansion, it seemed to her that the most appropriate thing would have been to stay in this room. Someone had sent her the keys to the front door, sure, but she was still a guest. As soon as she opens the door, however, Debbie immediately remembers why she ruled out making the room her own. It's full of junk. Oh my god. Indeed, rather than a guest bedroom, it seems to be more like a storage room. A sophistication and refinement that set the rest of the rooms in the mansion apart is conspicuously absent. Jesus! How am I supposed to find the statue here? Bed, 2 pillows, sheets, blankets, towels, hangers, closet, bedside table, bedside lamp, mirror, desk, chair, several plants, TV, magazines, alarm clock, waste bucket, first aid kit, clothes trunk, fan, crib, electric kettle, cups, glasses, small fridge, maps and tourist guides, a plug adapter, a vase with flowers, toy box, chess set, an armchair, paintings, photographs, a cat figurine, a floor lamp, landline telephone, umbrella, slippers, spare toothbrush and toothpaste, a set of scented candles, a sewing box, reading glasses, box of cookies, desk organizer, pencil and paper, laundry basket, chair, and a luggage rack. Cat figurine. Got him. Definitely is your water after that one. Damn. Yes, I found it. Debbie holds the cat figurine tightly and lifts it triumphantly above her head, jumping up and down with joy. After gently dusting it off, Debbie is able to see that the statue is made of shiny metal. She can't say for sure, but she's convinced it's sterling silver. I'll take you to the rest of the litter, she says, and she watches the deformed reflection of her face on the metal surface in the figurine. Huffing and puffing and trying not to trip over the pile of junk all over the floor, she steps back into the hallway. Not long to go before she finishes her mission. Okay. So we're back here. Attic. We haven't done the attic yet. Is this dark? Debbie solemnly walks toward a door at the top of the mansion, the one leading to the attic. She's about to turn the knob, but it's locked. Okay. She always forgets she can't get in there. It's one of those little things that still force her to feel like an intruder in the house. Someday I'll find the key. Someday. She turns around and continues down the hall. Okay, I can't go upstairs or downstairs. Let's go here. She returns to the dining room. The bowl of cereal and the overturned milk carton are still there, just as she left them earlier. What a mess. After a sad attempt to wipe up the puddle of milk with some paper napkins, Debbie turns her attention to what really matters now, the cat statue. She kneels down in front of the glass furniture, cupboards, and cabinets that line the huge dining room table. She finds a bit of everything. Silver cutlery, bohemian crystal goblets, porcelain tableware. But what about the cat? Come on, Kit. Come on. Where are you hiding, kitty? It might have to do with this. Discouraged, she sits down in the chair and crosses her arms on the table, resting her chin on the cold wood. She glances at the clock out of the corner of her eye. How long have I spent searching? In front of her, there are 3 door-shaped possibilities. Kitchen, the office, and the living room. Let's try the kitchen. I don't think we've tried it here yet. She enters the kitchen. Despite being one of the rooms of the house she has been in the most, for the first time she realizes just how big it is. When she lived in her father's house, she barely set foot in the kitchen. When she did visit the kitchen, it was to raid the refrigerator, where there was always some freshly prepared delight. There, she had round-the-clock service, so there was no need to get her hands dirty, not even to make herself a sandwich. Here, on the other hand, the fridge is practically empty. So far, she has subsisted on takeaway pizza and chicken wings, boxes of which are piled up in the counter. She hasn't even bothered to take an inventory of the pots, pans, frying pans, and other utensils at her disposal. Cooking isn't her thing, but sooner or later she'll have to get on with it. Hey! Number 2. She can't help but suppress a wry smile. It felt as if someone wanted to teach her a lesson by hiding the figure inside a pot, as if they knew that was the last place she would think to search. Gotcha, she says as she grabs the cat-shaped statuette with both hands. It is ceramic, so it is quite light. Taking a closer look, she notices that they're also covered with precious jewels. Are those diamonds? Overjoyed and without missing a beat, Debbie comes out of the kitchen with the new figurine in her possession. Okay. She returns to the dining room, aware that she has already thoroughly searched it. The bowl of couch chocolate and overturned milk carton is still where she left it. Nah, I'm wasting time. There's more to do around here, she says, herself scolding tone. She's no choice but to keep looking. The office? Here's the office. She once again sits down in front of... I don't think I need to be here. In front of the reddish mahogany desk and opens drawers one by one. There she finds all kinds of documents, architectural plans, contracts, handwritten notes, newspaper clippings. She checks the bookshelves and pulls some tomes out of place, hoping that one of them will magically activate a mechanism or a clue that points her toward where the cat figure is, but she has no luck. That would be too good to be true, wouldn't it? When she's done, she bends down to look under the table where she only finds dust gathering on the carpet. As she gets up, she bumps into the bottom of the desk. Ouch, she complains, although leaving empty-handed hurts more than the blow. Nothing. There's no statue here. It's time to continue inspecting the rest of the house. Let's go to the library. She ceremoniously approaches the shelf where the pedestal of cat-shaped statues are located. There are now a total of 3 cats on the pedestal. There's one missing. Final push, here we go. Need to keep looking. So back to the living room. Where are we not checked among that list? There's something missing here. Hey, there we go. Finally, finding them hasn't been easy, but I hope it was worth it, all the effort. Shaking like jelly, Debbie prepares herself to place the 3 cat-shaped figurines on the pedestal next to the one she originally found in the cabinet. As she tries to fit them, she can't help but admire the glittering jewels that cover each of the figurines. The light that reflects off of them dazzles her for a moment that seems to go on forever. Just one of these is worth a fortune. I can't even imagine where 4 must be worth. Sure, it can make a lot of money from the whole collection. Suddenly, Debbie slows herself down and stands still, holding one of the cats in both hands. She daydreams about running out of there. What's the point of staying in the house? She doesn't know whose it is, nor if anyone will suddenly show up, nor does she know if she's in danger. Yeah, maybe it would be best to get the hell out of here with the loot. I've earned it after all, she thinks out loud. However, there's something inside her that prompts her to stay. She's not sure what life awaits for her out there, but she can take a pretty good guess. On the other hand, she knows for certain that the secrets hidden in the mansion will haunt her for the rest of her life. No, she cannot afford that luxury. It would be like leaving a book half read or quitting a video game before defeating the final boss. Nah, no way, I'm staying. She decidedly places the final figurine on the pedestal. Then she hears a mechanical noise and the buttons just below the figure light up. Debbie presses the buttons and listens to the different cat meows, dumbfounded. What's with these numbers? What did they mean? Debbie closely watches the 4 figures for quite some time, sure that there is still something missing. The only thing she's unsure about is whether to go to the dining room or back to the office in search of a way to solve her problem. Guessing something in the dining room then, right? The stain left by the spilled milk is beginning to dry. She knows that the longer it takes for her to clean it up, the harder it will be, but she has her sights set on another thing for now. I'll clean it up later on, I swear, she lies to herself. Tired, she takes another look at the cuckoo clock hanging on the wall. Okay. She finds it hard to believe that it's already 3 o'clock in the morning. She peers through the doorframe and indeed sees a light from the street lamp spilling in through the living room. Far from being discouraged, she feels a spike of adrenaline. After all, she has always been a night owl. I have to beat this stupid game no matter what. Debbie feels that she is very close to that answer is there, right under her nose, hidden on the phone and in the cats. Oh, this is making me go back to the cats. Oopsie.
Hello, Debbie. I've been waiting to talk with you for a long time, you know. But first, you must listen to me very carefully. We don't have much time. Please, help me find my cats. They've gotten lost all over this massive house. Once they're all together, they'll give you a time. The time to cry.
The cats will give you a time to cry. Oh! Back to the dining room. 23:45. Hey, there we go. That's the cat. So it's 3, 5. 2, 4 maybe? Yep, that's right. Oh, I gotta put it in order maybe? Hey, there we go. Debbie's overwhelmed with astonishment. On the shelf in front of her, a cubicle that has been hidden behind a screen covered with false book spines had just opened up. Inside the compartment, there is a panel with 8 switches. 8 selector switches. Debbie takes note of the names written on the side of each button. Despite reading them over and over, none of them ring a bell. Page 59, though. Yo, like... I'm on, like, my 3rd page of puzzle notes here. Like, what the hell? Wait a minute, hold on a second. She notices a number engraved on the panel with the 8 selectors. I can hardly believe my eyes. Page 59. At this point in this game of cat and mouse, pun intended, I bet, Debbie no longer believes in coincidences. On the very page, she finds a handwritten note, jotted down in a neat and fine print. She needs to find a telephone. Dial your phone. She enters the office, leaving the library. She's plagued with doubts that prevent her from thinking clearly. Who is messing with her? Could it be the sinister-looking man who she saw lurking around the neighborhood? And who sent Hicksville College the letter with the key in it? What if they turn out to be the same person? The honest truth is that she may very well be at the mercy of a psychopath who, at this very moment, may be having a fantastic time torturing her like a cat toying with a dying mouse moments before devouring her. That's a morbid thought, Debbie. God damn. A cat. Just like a cat, she mutters under her breath, pushing those gruesome thoughts out of her head. Debbie stops in front of the phone and picks it up. Slowly, she brings her left hand to the device, ready to dial a number as she recalls the words written on the note. Dial your phone. Oh. I need to see that page again. 2510, 1510? Back in the library, Debbie wanders around in circles, trying to make sense of it all. What am I missing? There's something I'm not seeing. She sits in the chair behind the desk, lost in thought. The scrapbook still sits on the small table, open to the page that the handwritten note can be found on. This note must be a clue, I'm sure of it. But how is it? Have you tried literally dialing your phone? My phone? I'm gonna do this because I'm not gonna. If it's about to do what I'm thinking. Okay. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't trying to get me to dial my actual personal number. It is not. Dial your phone. What is my phone? Oh! I can click on this now. Four, 3, 2. Let me try the other spaces first. Huh. Can I do the basement yet? She again attempts to... Okay. Too dangerous to explore. Yeah, okay. So I can't do that. Let's go back upstairs. Exhausted with aching muscles and a dry mouth, but she knows she must gather strength and press on. Please give me a sign, a little help, something, anything. However, when she returns to the attic door, everything still remains the same. Debbie jiggles the doorknob once, twice, 3 times, but still won't budge. Frustrated, she kicks it, which does nothing more than hurt her big toe. Nope. Dial your phone. What the hell? What the fuck do you want me to do about dialing my phone, man? Dial your... What if... Y-O-U-R-P-H-O-N-E. Woo!
Hello again, Debbie. I always pictured you this way, so smart and brave. Now that you've found my cats, you have to figure out their names. Carefully count how long the red lamp is on and open the drawer. There you'll find something that will shed light and help you search for the kittens' names, as well as discover the secrets hidden in this house.
Wow, I always pictured you this way, so smart and brave. Debbie has that phrase stuck in her head. She begins to suspect that all this is no coincidence, that behind this joke lies someone she knows well. Alright, let's find out who you are, Debbie thinks as she bites her lower lip. Let's find out the names of these damned cats. Feeling more determined than ever, Debbie sets off in a search for a lamp in the hallway. She's now in the living room. Through the windows, she can see the garden, lit up by the light pouring from the houses as well as by the street lamps. Been a long day. Debbie realizes she hasn't stopped all day. The couch cushions, fluffy and welcoming, once again seem to call her name. No, come on, just a little longer. For better or worse, Debbie has always been stubborn. She's one of those people who tend to get what they set their minds to, and right now, she's got her sights set on solving this wretched mystery. Let's see, she can choose between the hall, the stairs, or return to the library. Okay. She steps back in the carbon in the hall. Now that she's here, she wonders if she needs to use the bathroom. Okay. Oh, here we go. So as soon as I turn it off, I had to... Got it. Incredible. The table lamp is connected to the mechanism that opens the drawer. This house will never cease to amaze me. Next, she examines the inside of the drawer. There are, among other things, she finds a key and a flashlight. Debbie searches the drawer again just in case she finds a handwritten note. Look for the lenses. Listen to the cats again. Figure out their names. Debbie sighs and shrugs her shoulders. Wow, and here I thought this was almost over. Far from giving up, Debbie stretches her arms and legs, cracking a bunch of bones, and retraces her steps towards the living room. Okay. Well, now that I have a flashlight and a key, I'm gonna guess we gotta go here. Let's start in the basement, now that we have a flashlight. Debbie heads downstairs yet again, this time ready to get the heart of the matter. They say basements are often where families hide their skeletons and darkest secrets. Perhaps that's why Debbie feels slightly apprehensive as she descends the steps one at a time. How on earth did I get myself in this mess? Before the gloom engulfs her, Debbie turns on the flashlight she found in the cabinet. Oh, okay. Debbie cautiously takes a few steps forward, abandoning the stairs. She quickly sweeps the room with the flashlight, pointing it toward the basement walls, which allows her to make out a lot of different things. Suitcases, toolboxes, electrical panels, some golf clubs, a tricycle, boxes open upon boxes, a winery, merry-go-round horse. Without hesitation, Debbie decides to get out of there. She starts walking backward when suddenly she trips over something. What's the winery? Oh, hello. Okay, so the wine has to be 5, 2, 3. Walking backwards, she trips over something. Debbie has fallen face first onto the basement floor. Well? It takes her a few seconds to sit up and realize what had happened. She stumbled over the opening of a well that's just sitting there in the basement. Thank goodness, I almost cracked my head open. Fearfully, and with the utmost respect, Debbie peers into the well but is unable to see how far down it goes. As she reaches her arms to find something stable to lean on, she comes across a taut rope leading down the shaft and disappearing into the darkness. It seems really deep. It doesn't give me a good feeling at all. Intrigued, Debbie tugs on the string. What will be down there? After a few seconds, she managed to raise a small metal bucket. There seems to be something inside. Oh, these are the lenses. Debbie pulls out a bag out of the bucket and opens it curiously. She points the flashlight into the bag just to be sure. Some lenses. Weren't they what I was looking for? What could they be used for? Almost instinctively, Debbie picks the lenses and sees they are the same size as the flashlight. They fit. Confident she has put them to good use. Debbie hurries out of the basement. Okay. Now let's go upstairs. Upstairs, striding in the hallway as fast as she could, stumbles and almost trips a couple times. As she arrives in the front of the attic door, she rummages through her pockets until she comes up with the key she found. Please, please, please. She gently inserts the small key into the lock. Oh. It works! Filled with jubilation, she steps into the attic, leaving the hallway behind. The room is illuminated by the light from street lamps, which enters through several small windows. It is spacious, with a vaulted ceiling and floor covered with wooden planks that creak under Debbie's feet. Dust and cobwebs collect in the corners. Debbie stops in the center of the sadly empty room and turns around on herself. But if there's nothing, all this mess for this? Debbie growls in bitter frustration, as if she's in the position to demand an explanation from someone. Just as she's about to break down an adolescent tantrum, Debbie notices a door leaning against a terrace. Interesting. What am I supposed to do?
There doesn't seem to be anything I can do here. At least not yet, from what it looks like.
Ooh! We have Sylvester, which is the 4 cubes. Are you grumpy? Which is our 3. M? Either Mara or Milo. And then I don't know about this one. What did it say? Have you tried using the flashlight to recreate the signal? Signal on the black cushion. Try using your flashlight to recreate the black signal. I don't know what that means. Does it have something to do with the terrace? Okay. There's gotta be something, right? Ma'am, please don't knock things over. Lily! Oh! Cat? That one? Ma'am! Lily! What are you doing? What are you after? Ma'am. Oh, you're after something on the floor. Oh yeah, she caused problems. Okay. So, I think I have an idea. Let's head back to the library. So, we know 3 of the names. And the 4th begins with an M. So, it was Sylvester, Grumpy, Cat. Nope. No, Maru then? Oh, there we go! Interesting.
Another one. Another one of the house's secrets revealed. I feel like I'm psychoanalyzing the place. Erica C. The name engraved on the ring also appears in the book, and seems like Erica played our perfect little wife in this story. Beautiful, elegant, polite, surrounded by wealth and opulence. And don't forget about those cats she loves so deeply. But when she found out her husband was cheating, it all crumbled away. She demanded a divorce, and in the fallout, it ignited an all-out war in the family. She faced death threats from her husband and her mother-in-law. And even through all that, she remained adamant getting that separation.
Really?
Only a few weeks later, her body was found lifeless at the foot of a cliff. The police investigation was short-lived, and many clues pointed to it being a suicide. In my hand, I now hold Erica C's ring. Her story could just as well be mine. Trapped in a cookie-cutter life. From the outside, everyone envies you, but nobody knows it's a living hell.
That's the amulet Debbie has, though.
Who are you, Erica? You lived here as well, didn't you? What secret did you take to the grave?
Was that your mom? Because your last name begins with a C, right? Debbie lies asleep on the couch. The young woman has conked out after a busy morning. She's lying on her back. In her hands, she clutches a mysterious framed photo of Erica C, smiling alongside her inseparable cats. It's the last piece of the pharaonic puzzle that is, in itself, the mansion. A matryoshka of enigmas that Debbie is getting closer and closer to solving. Her right leg twitches spasmodically, just as the cuckoo clock in the dining room strikes 5:30. Suddenly, a noise wakes her up. Debbie opens her eyes and blinks repeatedly, aware and alert. What was that? Lilybean. It was Lilybean! Craning her neck slightly, Debbie strains to listen more intently. She's pretty sure she heard something. Now there is no doubt. The sound is coming from inside the house. Oh no, someone broke in. Debbie instinctively jumps to her feet, dropping the photo of Erica on the couch. Her intuition urges her to hide in what might be the safest place in the house. The basement! Ayo! Abandoning stealth as an option, Debbie dashes for the stairs, but it's too late. As soon as she places her foot on the first step, she looks to the top floor and sees horrified a dark, hulking figure descending at full speed, ready to pounce on her. He's coming to get me. Run, damn it, run, she screams, a voice inside her head. Debbie quickly turns back to the living room. She leaps over the couch and lands on the floor, crouching there for a second. She can barely see the mysterious figure out of the corner of her eye, but recognizes them right away. It's that man. How the hell did he get in the house? He spent all these weeks snooping around the neighborhood, but today he finally decided to take action. Why? There's no time to dwell on it. The intruder has already cleared the stairs and is heading toward her. Debbie jumps back over the couch and bolts for the office. Debbie closes the door and leans her back against it. Her heart is about to burst out of her chest. She looks around, frightened. She needs to hide somewhere, but the office is not the right place. Not here, you idiot. He'll easily find you, she berates herself. She can clearly hear the man's footsteps approaching. He's slow but determined, confident that his prey will eventually fall into his clutches. I have to get out of this house now. Now, not stopping to think twice, she runs out of the room. She heads for the exit, but the door to the hall is closed. Damn, he must have put the latch on it. Then it dawns on Debbie. She can no longer hear the footsteps. Has he left? I doubt it. Hundreds of images swirl through her mind. She remembers the collection of knives in the kitchen and pictures herself wielding one. Can I grab one? Damn. If That's a spoon. Holding her brush, she slowly recedes the direction of the kitchen. Who are you? Debbie says, trying to hide her dread. Man sadly starts inching toward her. Debbie keeps her distance, walking backwards. He's huge, much taller and stronger than he appeared to be through the window. He's dressed in black from head to toe, and the ski mask only allows her to see his expressionless blue eyes, which remind her of a shark. Who are you? Answer me, she shouts, cornered. The big man opens his blue eyes as he raises his hands, ready to pounce on her. When he grabs her by the shoulders, Debbie scrambles and manages to dodge his embrace, but stumbles and falls hard. From the ground, Debbie reacts just in time and kicks down a chair, causing the guy to lose his footing and fall flat on his face. Crawling as fast as she can, Debbie scurries back to the dining room. Debbie immediately gets up and runs to the hall door, which is still locked. Cursing inwardly, she sees her pursuer returning to the living room. Debbie flees toward the door to the stairs, but no matter how hard she tries, the knob won't turn. It's locked too. She's trapped. The masked giant blocks the way up to the office and the bookcase. Did you see me with the key? Debbie defiantly snaps at him. The man still doesn't respond. There's a certain satisfaction in his gaze, as if he's enjoying himself. Are you the madman who designed this whole game? Tell me. Debbie tries to put distance between herself and the thug, keeping her back against the wall, never taking her eyes off him. What do you want from me? She desperately screams. Suddenly her eyes focus on the floor lamp, the only one switched on, and on its electric cord. Debbie quickly crouches down and pulls the cable with all her might. The room's gone dark. Debbie extends her right hand to feel for the chest of drawers that helped her get her bearings. She's managed to disorient the intruder, who remains still for a few moments. Both of them must now use their hearing to find a way out. Suddenly, a small noise reveals where the man is standing. Debbie quickly opens a drawer and looks for something to throw at him. Ugh. This isn't working. Even though she's hit her target a few times, the intruder's still there. She can hear his breathing in the dark as he gets closer and closer, tracking her down. Debbie needs to use the tactical advantage of having lived in the house and knowing the layout of the furniture. Taking 3 precise steps, she returns to the living room and hides behind the sofa. She remains crouched there, sadly waiting for the man to approach so she can trip him up. She must concentrate on the guy's steps, and when he's close enough, stretch her leg out. As soon as the huge hulk drops to the ground, landing right next to her, Debbie climbs on top of him. The disparity in strength between them is obvious, but the surprise factor gives the young woman a slight advantage that she makes the most of. They struggle. She scratches him, hits him, pulls his hair, doing anything she can to hurt him. The thug grabs Debbie's face with his enormous hands. He looks like he could snap her neck with a flick of a wrist. Wait, Debbie, the man mumbles. I don't want to hurt you. But Debbie can't hear him. Rage is taken over. Your father. The man isn't able to finish his sentence. Debbie sinks her teeth into his hand and bites as hard as she can. The guy manages to get away, but Debbie reacts quickly. You won't get away this time. Oh, I got it. Debbie's looking in the kitchen drawers for something to tie the man up with. He now lies passed out in the living room. The last thing the intruder expected was for an 18-year-old girl to fight back. Disoriented from being brutally bitten, the guy shook Debbie off and ran after her, but slipped on the carpet and hit his head on a coffee table as he fell, losing consciousness. Debbie now has the masked man's wallet in her hands. She opens it, trying to find something that will tell her who the hell he is. She finds out about $50 in 10s and 20s, some photos that look like family mementos, and several ID cards. Okay. You jerk. Debbie instantly recognizes the name of her father's private security company, A-Team Security. That's where he usually hired his bodyguard, security, and hitmen. Low-life individuals capable of committing all sorts of atrocities in exchange for a few bucks. I knew you would never leave me alone. Despite putting several thousand miles between them, her father, her one true nemesis, has ended up finding her. Coward, you didn't even have the guts to come yourself, she mutters in anger, wanting to burst into tears. Debbie falls to her knees, defeated. She feels like she's living in a never-ending nightmare, one like the ones she had as a child every time she received a spanking or some other cruel punishment. And yet, this revelation fuels her desire to escape from her past and start from scratch. Here, she's still an outsider, a stranger. She can leave her problems with alcohol and drugs behind her, along with her other bad habits. Yes, she can re-enroll in fine arts, continue her studies. As for the house, it's undeniable that she feels a bond with it. She would love to continue living here. But would she be able to afford it? These are very ambitious plans for someone who's broke, and her auntie's money is running out. Then a noise jolts her out of her reverie. It comes from the living room. Debbie briskly walks across the dining room and into the living room. You're kidding me. The intruder's unconscious body is no longer there. He's gone. Has he left the house? Debbie glances out the window. It's already dawn outside, and a neighbor has taken their dog for a walk. There's no sign of the thug. Debbie unconsciously relaxes her shoulders, satisfied that she has managed to scare the giant away. She would have liked to give him a message to send to her father. As she turns around, Debbie accidentally steps on something. She looks down at the floor and sees the stereoscope surrounded by shards of glass. Oh no, I hope it's not broken. It's not the only damage caused by the scuffle of the masked man. The picture frame of Erica C. and her cats has also been broken. Debbie bends down to pick it up. Collateral damage, I suppose. Page 23, and we have a key, huh? A key? This discovery takes her by surprise. She has another look at the photo. She has been running around the mansion for long enough to know exactly what the number written on it means, but the piano, that's a new one. Right, that's it. Debbie sits up gracefully. She's remembered where she's seen a piano before. Determined, she directs her gaze toward the office. Page 23? Yep. Debbie leaves the living room. Standing under the doorframe, she scans the office. There you are. On a reddish mahogany desk, right where she had left it, lies the scrapbook. The blessed scrapbook. The blessed scrapbook? Debbie grabs the book and tucks it under her arm, prepared to walk through the wooden door at the back, the one that leads to the piano room. Debbie closes the office door behind her and enters the room. It's certainly not the most spacious room in the house, but it is still large and feels cozy. The walls are decorated with concert posters and jazz album covers. Charlie Parker, Lou Donaldson, Ben Webster, Milt Jackson, Don Cherry, Joe Pass. Some names ring a bell, others she's not familiar with. What a lineup, she says as she smiles inwardly. After gazing at the frames hanging on the walls, Debbie stands in the center of the space, in front of the majestic grand piano that presides over the room. It has a unique shape, unusually bulky, as if it's hiding a secret compartment. Play a song for me, Debbie remembers the words written on the back of the frame. With utmost respect, she slides her hand across the waxed wood, tracing a line over the thin layer of dust. She remembers being here before. She wants to play the piano, but finds that it's locked. A key is needed to open it. Okay. Debbie tries the key that was hidden behind the picture frame, and sure enough, the piano lid opens with a metallic clink. It fits. I knew it. Grinning from ear to ear, Debbie ceremoniously sits on the piano stool and begins to play. Time stands still as she plays. Perhaps only a few minutes pass by, or maybe several hours. Either way, it's enough for Debbie to forget everything. Her father, the mansion, her ill-fated 18th birthday, Hicksville College, and her pig of a boyfriend. After this brief mental pause, static, Debbie stops playing and becomes emotional in the silence. She exhales a deep sigh and opens her eyes, ready to continue exploring the room with renewed curiosity. A shelf full of records catches her eye. Debbie pulls out a few to examine them. This one looks familiar. Just below the shelf there is a record player with built-in speakers. It has several compartments and a phrase made up of letters framed in diamonds. They look like buttons. Oh, okay. She's not there. E-N-T? two-tone? Oh. E-N... Okay, got it. I see what we're doing. So, E-N-T... I can't look at anything. N-T... G-T... Y-K-F-B. E-N-T-G-T-Y-K-F-B. Hmm. Hmm. Need to look at the discs. What do the marked letters have in common? What position do the marked letters occupy? What does that mean? Oh wait, it's the same. So 3, 5, 7. Three, 5, 7. There we go. Take that. Beaming with joy, Debbie bends down to peer into the compartment she's managed to open. Inside is a set of slides. I know where these go. With no time to spare, Debbie grabs the slides and returns to the place she left the stereoscope. Confident. Okay. I gotta grab that shit. Confident that it still works. Back in the dining room, Debbie nervously paces up and down as her eyes scan the floor. Where the hell is it? She finally finds it. The stereoscope has been slightly damaged after the scuffle with the thug her father sent, but it still works just as well. Debbie carefully places the slides that were inside the record player and looks through the viewfinder. Oh. Your name? Time is on my side. So that is C, D, that's an E. So C, D, E, F, G, G, H, no. G, trying to remember a fucking music scale. Hold on. Oh, right. E. So I'm right with it being E. Then G. B, B. And it's a whole note. So wait. Because these symbols are... Oh. Okay. So E, G... Okay. Oh. Okay. Cat. Score. Debbie stares at the clock for a few seconds, mesmerized. The numbers have turned into letters. This is crazy, but what am I supposed to do? She mutters to herself as she scratches her hair, completely disheveled. Stubbornly, Debbie goes over to the slides again. Wait a minute. What does my name sound like? Debbie feels like her head might just explode from all the thinking she's been doing. She senses she's close to solving this latest riddle, but she needs a hint in the right direction. Let me see. Show 12, 4. 9, 2. 4, 6. That's what we have for the piano. Your name. Oh, so Debbie would be D E B B I E. So that's gonna be if you think of a scale, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 and 4. 9 and 2. And then 6 and 4. Debbie leaves the living room and goes back to the room with the piano and album covers. Musicians full swing can still be seen on the walls, sweating under spotlights, clutching their instruments, clarinets, vibraphones, trumpets, drums, double basses. Piano sits in the corner in the center of the room, the real one, waiting for someone to bring life to the tune. Hey, there we go. The key was because the I, there's no I on the music scale, so I had to replace the I, and on the clock, it was a number 6. It was what the 6 would be. Debbie prances around the grand piano. Jazz musicians on the wall seem to celebrate in her triumph. Yes, 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 yes. Am I or am I not the best? As she plays her name, the lights on the piano have begun to flicker, and immediately a small hatch on the side of the instrument has sprung open. Debbie walks over and looks inside, where she finds a strange metal button. She's about to press it, but restrains herself. She feels as though she's about to desecrate a sacred place, like a sarcophagus of the pharaoh in the bowels of an Egyptian pyramid. What if at the end of this labyrinth there is nothing but a curse and she ends up dead, like those tomb raiders or archaeologists who died under strange circumstances? No risk, no reward, she says to herself before pressing the button with a trembling finger. And then the piano starts to play by itself. It sounds like a pre-recorded melody. It's a mechanical piano, Debbie concludes, somewhat disappointed by the finding. The player piano's mechanism seems to be hidden in the soundboard, which seems much larger than usual. Debbie persists and repeatedly presses the button. The letters on the keys sync as melodies she doesn't recognize to play. Tired, she plops down on the piano stool and shrugs her shoulders. Her eyes are again distracted by the walls. She feels lost, overwhelmed for the first time by the enormity of it all. Where the hell does this joke end? What's the point of all these puzzles? To drive me crazy? Debbie looks down, giving up. She feels like sending it all down the drain. The piano, the puzzles, the mansion. And suddenly, her eyes light up. I'm so stupid. Debbie gets up and rushes to the record player. There it is, underneath the record she pulls on the shelf. How did I forget about you? Triumphant, Debbie lifts the scrapbook, the blessed scrapbook, and opens it to the page that was written on the back of the photo. Surely you know what I have to do next. So hold on, let me go back to the piano. Okay, we're gonna write these down. Okay, number 2. Number 3. Okay. I got the 3 different songs. Now let's go back to here. Oh, hello. So, let's see what that does first. Oh no. Okay, so it's 3. I need the rest, that and that. I need the rest, this, and this. That ain't it. So, maybe those 3? Oh, I got it. Okay. Freaked out, Debbie watches as the frame slides away and a huge safe appeared underneath. Oh my god. Debbie can't believe it. Some letters have appeared illuminated above the frame. They're musical notes. Debbie can't put into words how she feels. She guesses that the painting and the piano are connected. She doesn't know how, but she thinks the notes are the key to opening the safe. Debbie approaches the piano again and presses the button. She watches the keys sync to the notes as the notes play. She looks up to see the picture with the illuminated letters above it. The second melody begins to play, and Debbie turns her attention back to the piano. Her gaze repeatedly travels from the painting to the piano and back until suddenly Debbie's gaze falls on the safe. I'm gonna open you and you know it. So... wait, the piano? Can I... maybe, hold up. Let me go back here. So, E is... 3, 4, 2, 7, 6, 1, 2. Then we have 3, 1, 6, 7, 2. F is 4, E is 3. We have 7. Did I miss a letter there? Hold up. No, I didn't miss the letter there. G is the only one that's not played, though. Damn, what the hell? E, F. Hold it. E, F, D, B, A, C, D. E, C, A, B, D, F, E. Okay. The letters from the song form the numbers. And then B, A, C, D, F, E. 8? 9, 8? B, A, C, D, F, E. 9? B, A... Oh, wait! There's nothing closing here, so B, A, C, D, F... Okay, that's a 5. There we go!
Dear Debbie, these are difficult words for me to write, but I suppose you deserve some answers. Before I was born, my parents had scripted my fate, forcing me into a loveless marriage and a life full of pretense.
Oh.
I was also compelled to follow in their footsteps and become an architect. However, I encountered constant roadblocks put in my way by those who couldn't stand to see a woman excel. Unexpectedly, my penchant for thievery saved me from that hell. I confess that the thrill of orchestrating a heist and getting away with it offered me some unparalleled satisfaction. While my exploits had been modest at first, perhaps the time had come to aim higher. When you think about it, thieves and architects aren't so different. Both are masters of blueprints and plans. I then set out to lead a double life and take revenge on those who had humiliated me, stealing from the very buildings they never let me design. They never caught me. They didn't even suspect me. They all thought I was the perfect wife. Only my beloved cats knew who I really was. But then, as fate would have it, I became pregnant with a baby girl, whom I named Deborah.
Oh!
I instantly became aware of the grave mistake I had made. You were not the mistake, my Debbie. The context was my husband, his family, the society in which I was forced to live. Plunged into despair, I could barely get out of bed. I worried about your future, our future. Refusing to subject you to live with a captive mother, I made a choice that haunts me to this day. I ran, feigned my death, and disappeared without a farewell.
Erica, okay.
Yes, Debbie. I am your mother. Serena Pullen, Leon, and Erica Clow were mere masks that life forced me to wear in order to survive.
Huh.
These secrets are hidden in this house, your house. Now that you've discovered them, I can only hope that someday you'll understand why I did what I did, and that you'll find it in your heart to forgive me. Love, Mom.
That's a phone number right there. That's the missing page from the book. Interesting. Forget about me forever, Debbie writes on a postcard. The treasures of the house had given her the financial freedom to say a definitive goodbye to her father, closing a painful chapter of her life. She feels happy. 8 months ago, she enrolled in fine arts, finally finding a space to explore her emotions and give artistic form to the questions that still haunt her. For Debbie, art has become more than just an activity. It's a tool for self-discovery and profound expression. At university, she met Diane, who brought both emotional stability and creative partnership into her life. Together, they founded the Killer Kittens, a feminist art collective dedicated to challenging societal norms and sparking reflection through performances laced with biting humor and sharp social critique. Every joke is a small revolution, Debbie thinks to herself as she presses a stamp onto the postcard. The house, once a somber space weighed down by memories, is now her sanctuary and studio. It has been transformed into a vibrant, lively haven where the Killer Kittens gather to brainstorm, create, and connect. It stands as a silent witness to the emotions, thoughts, and projects Debbie records in an old red notebook. But not all shadows have disappeared. On the quietest nights, Debbie still wonders about her mother. Is she alive? Should she look for her? The idea of a reunion... I feel like I have a hair. I'm shedding. The idea of a reunion hovers between pull of nostalgia and a deep unspoken fear. On her bedside table, next to the now complete amulet, the book Your House seems to watch her, offering promises of answers she isn't sure she's ready to find. She often leaves through the pages, finding comfort in the realization that, like her mother, she now has something invaluable, a dream to pursue. And plenty of mistakes still to make. I did it! That was interesting. That was pretty fun. Some of the puzzles took me a minute to figure out, but otherwise, like, I think it was a fun little short game that we got to play. All right. Well, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. It took a minute to get through the game, but some of the puzzles were a little bit tricky to deal with. And I did have to use some of the hints and things along the way. But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. This was a really fun game. A fun little short puzzle type game. Some of the puzzles were fun and interesting to play with, and others were a little odd. But the style of how this was done, using text as your main mode to solve puzzles and move around, that's a very interesting and fascinating concept for sure. Definitely different and unique style of play, I think. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. I did. And I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me tonight. Even though I struggled a little bit.